Alright, this is John Cole with DiscountJuicer.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you, and this is a long-awaited episode for many of you guys out there. What we're going to do is we're going to compare two wide mouth feed chute juicers on the show today. And what we got here is we got two popular juicers right now. This is the Breville juice fountain, and the juice fountain's very popular. It's probably one of the best-selling juicers out there. The reason why is because it has a large 3-inch wide feed chute. Allows you to take whole apples literally and put them in the machine whole, get juiced right up. It's very fast, it works quite well, and thousands of people everywhere own the Breville juicer and are quite happy with it. Now, the next juicer we're going to talk about today is something that's not as well known as the Breville. It's actually called the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer. And that's because it's a whole slow juicer, because it can juice whole pieces of fruits and vegetables, much like the Breville. But it works a lot differently. The Breville runs at a very high speed, 12,000, 13,000 RPMs on the high speed. This has been described to me as an airplane taking off in my kitchen, John. Whereas the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer runs at a low and slow 60 revolutions per minute. So this is multitude slower. So this is me a lot more quiet on the ears. And in addition, one of the things I've learned over all these years juicing is that the higher the speed, the more oxidation that occurs to the juice. First, what I want to do is actually talk to you about the different juicers and the principles and how they work and some of the parts that are included with each one. Then we'll go ahead and basically take apart each one so you can see the different parts and more specifically understand how it operates. And then finally, of course, we're going to get into one of my favorite juice offs. So the first thing I want to do is actually talk to you about the different machines. So this is the Breville juice fountain. It is a high-speed centrifugal ejection style machine. So what does that mean? That means there's a blade that's spinning around at high speed with little cutting teeth that basically shred up like you're shredding your carrots up on your salad. And when you're shredding carrots up on your salad, when you're making the shreds, some juice comes off. Well, these high-speed cutting blades really micro-shred the produce into small particles. At the time they're shredded, juice comes off, so it liberates the juice comes out into the front catch, and the pulp comes off into the rear catch bin. Now, because this runs at incredibly high speed, they provide you a special catch pitcher, because if they didn't do that, if you just put it into a cup or a bowl, the air force coming out of the nozzle would splatter all your juice everywhere. In addition, they have a pulp catch container here that's sealed quite well, because if it wasn't sealed, as the pulp came out, it'd actually just fly into the air and get your kitchen a mess. Now, one of the things I like about the Breville juice fountain is that it does come with actually a cleaning brush. Many other centrifugal ejection machines do not come with a cleaning brush. And this is the cleaning brush they include with every Breville juicer. Nice and durable, going to last you many years to come. And this is imperative to clean the screen of the juicer inside the Breville. Now, of course, with the Breville, you also get the standard instruction manual that tells you how to use the machine. And with the Breville, there's a 1-year warranty. You're thinking, wow, man, that's a 1-year warranty. That's a good warranty, because if the machine fails, then within 1 year, they'll replace it or repair it at no cost to you. Now, keep in mind, much like the tires on your car, right, there are wearable parts on this juicer that are not going to be covered under warranty. I mean, what car manufacturer covers tires on your car, right? None of them. So the blades, because they are sharp blades, and with everything you juice in there, the blades wear out. They get dull, and when your blades get dull, the yield goes down. Also, the performance goes down, because you're going to be cramming things in there, and it's going to clog up, make a pulp your juice, make a mess, and not work as well. And when you need to replace the blade, something Breville doesn't tell you, is that the blades can cost as much as $50 to replace the blade alone. This is kind of like when you buy that cheap laser or inkjet, printer, and then you got to buy the toner cartridge that cost almost as much as the freaking printer does, right? So yeah, so remember that with all centrifugal ejection machines, you got to replace that blade every so often, especially if you're using the machine a lot and wearing it out. So next, let's go over to the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer. This runs on a completely different principle than the Breville juicer on that side. Basically, this works with a slow running auger with no blades, no teeth to wear out, to go bad. This is kind of like having, some hard plastic bicycle tires that just never wear out, literally, So it runs at a low 60 revolutions per minute. It crushes and squeezes, so it's working differently. This is kind of like grating and ejecting the juice out. This is squeezing and literally squeezing all the nutrients out of the juice. Some of the studies I've seen show that the slow machines literally extract more nutrients than some of the high speed machines. Squeezes it out at a low speed and then puts it in your glass. Now, in addition, besides just being able to juice, like the Breville could only make juices, this will allow you to do other things besides juice. It'll allow you to make things like nut milks. So if you want to get dairy out of your diet, out of your life, because in my belief, dairy is not necessary. There's nothing in dairy that we inherently need to get into our bodies. You can make your own coconut milk, your own almond nut milk, your own macadamia nut milk. That's delicious. With the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer, so that you can get more fresh fruits and vegetables, nuts and seeds, and plant-based foods in you. Now, in addition, the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer includes, with every purchase, this guy right here, actually. And what this is actually called the blank plate or homogenizing plate. And what this allows you to do, this allows you to take nuts, like roasted peanuts, put it through the machine, and you can make your own delicious peanut butter that's additive free, that's sugar free. You don't have any additives in there. Not all those preservatives that are really not so good for you, in my opinion. And you can make the best nut butters made at home in your own juicer. Another thing it allows you to do, which is really great, allows you to get that ice cream out of your life. I know you guys are all sitting down to a carton of ice cream, and before you know it, the whole thing's gone. I've done that many times, and not only I would do that with pints, but I do that with half gallons. I'd sit down and eat a half gallon of ice cream, one sitting, no joke. But yeah, all that went to my waist, and I started gaining some weight. Now, it'd be a lot better, and to still be able to get that ice cream-like flavor in something really healthy, the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer allows you to take frozen fruits. So my favorite frozen fruit is you take some bananas that are really ripe. You get them for cheap at the store in those little bags. They're like half price or even less. You take them home, you peel them, you put them in your freezer, you freeze them so you have hard frozen peeled bananas. You take them out of your freezer, you thaw them for a little bit, and then you put them through the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer with a blank plate. And out this spout here, you get the most delicious 100% banana sorbet you've ever tasted. It reminds me only of having the frozen yogurt, coming out of that frozen yogurt machine when you were a kid at that fast food restaurant. Tastes so delicious. And then you could sprinkle some nuts on there. You could blend up some dates with some coconut water for a nice, creamy topping. You could even process other frozen fruits in here, such as frozen pineapples, frozen mangoes, frozen berries are my favorite, blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, along with the banana, and make all your own different kinds of treats. Another thing that's really cool, you could take watermelon, seedless watermelon, cut it up, and freeze it into big chunks, and then you could put the chunks through the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer with the blank plate here, and you're going to make some of the most delicious frozen slushy or shave ice you ever had. Because literally, what is watermelon? It's watermelon and watermelon flavor. So you're going to have shave ice that's watermelon flavored, 100% natural, no corn syrup, no additives. So the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer is more of a lifestyle machine than just a juicer like the Breville. So let's go on. Now, besides having just the one cleaning brush, Kuvings understands that they want to make cleaning easy for you guys out there, and they give you not just one, similar to the Breville, a little cleaning brush to clean the screen. Because let me tell you, the screen is the hardest part to clean on any juicer, no matter what it is. They give you a standard brush to clean the screen and get in some of the tight, hard to reach nooks and crannies of the machine. But they also give you a nice little a bottle brush to clean in some of the different spouts and whatnot. Breville actually should include this because this spout can get kind of funky in my opinion. But more importantly, they give you a special screen cleaning tool here that literally will take your screen cleaning from, a minute to literally seconds with this screen clean. You put the screen in there, twist this around a couple times, your screen's automatically clean. So I like that they're doing this, and this is all included in one low price with the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer. Now the other thing they're including that's amazing, and I think Breville should be doing this, and actually every manufacturer's juicer should be doing this as well, they're going to give you a 100-page recipe book with instructions and all these delicious things you can make, you know, from different juices to, you know, tropical fantasy mixed drinks to, here you go, apple martinis, to different soups and sauces, all different kinds of things you can do. 100 pages full of delicious recipes, full color book to help you get started, because I know, you know, I've been through this before. I got into juicing to change my health. You know, I almost lost my life when I was younger. I was overweight. I was not feeling well. And I got into juicing to change my health. And yes, while I got into juicing with just standard juicer, similar to the Breville actually, I would have much rather, you know, got the fast track, got the fast forward, you know. But with the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer, be able to make a lot more dietary changes, because then I know I will see more results. I mean, the whole thing about juicers that many people selling juicers don't tell you is that the reason why juicers are so beneficial is not because there's some magical appliance. It's because literally it increases the amounts of fruits and vegetables you guys can consume. And the fact of the matter is clear, most Americans are eating far too much processed foods, junk foods, you know, McDonald's, animal foods, you know, Coca-Colas, all these things that are really not foods in my opinion. And we need to get back to basics, back to the foods of nature, fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, nuts and seeds, you know, and you want to get as many of them in as you can to displace all the junk foods. I know you might not give up all those junk foods. You love your McDonald's, and that's cool, but all I'm saying is that you want to start including fresh juices minimum once a day, if not twice a day, in addition to like, you know, dessert. Like, what if you did right now, like, had a fresh juice for breakfast, had your normal lunch, had an afternoon juice for a snack, had your dinner. I don't care if you go out to McDonald's, and then for dessert, instead of getting that you know, ice cream at McDonald's full of monodiglycerides and corn syrup and all the crap, make a frozen fruit sorbet. At that point, you're eating most of your, you know, half your diet fruits and vegetables, because you're drinking juices and getting sorbets, and maybe even start making nut butter sandwiches for lunch. You know, using the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer. It's totally amazing what these appliances could do once you get them into your life and you start using them, and how much better you'll feel, how much weight you're going to lose, and how much better your health is going to be. Now, aside from that, you know, Kuvings understands that, you know, they want a machine to be an investment, and that's what it is to me. One of the juice machines is an investment, and it's an investment in the most important thing you got. No, not that fancy car, not that house, not all the money in the bank. It's your health, because simply without your health, and your health is your greatest wealth, without your health you don't have anything. You can't enjoy the money in the bank. You can't enjoy that fancy car, right? So when you buy a juicer, you're making an investment in your health, because it's going to allow you to eat the fruits and vegetables that are going to allow you to be healthier, so that you'll be able to enjoy life longer. So Kuvings doesn't have a 1-year warranty. They don't even have a 2-year warranty. They don't even have a 5-year warranty or a 7-year warranty. They have a full 10-year warranty. So even if this machine breaks down in year number 9, you're going to be covered. They're going to repair it or replace it at no cost to you, provided it was due to manufacturer's defect. So man, you invest once in an appliance, in a juicer that's going to do well, have a long warranty, and you'll never have to buy one again. Another cool thing is, this does not have any blades like that one to wear out, so you're not going to have to keep being slave to Kuvings and buy blades from them when this one wears out, because this is an Ultim auger that's 8 times harder plastic, and I haven't actually seen any wear on mine, and I've been using mine almost every day for a long time now. So in any case, without further ado, now that you know about the juicers, let's go ahead and disassemble them to show you really quickly how they work, and then we're going to get into this apple juice off. We've got about a pound of apples here. We're going to juice in each machine so you guys can see how they work. Then we're going to set the apple juice aside, because this is going to be very telling. And then we're going to get into juicing some leafy greens and some carrots. So first, let's go ahead and take this Breville apart. You can see here we got the standard pusher here on the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer. To compare them, we got the pusher. Yeah, they're both 3-inch wide pushers, nice and big. Next, we're going to take the feed chute off the Breville and the feed chute off the Kuvings. And here we go. Here's the feed chutes off each of them. As you guys can see, both 3 inches wide, nice and large to put things in. You know, this one's a lot more hunky, because it actually has to kick the pulp out of the back, and this one's a lot more streamlined because all the pulp goes in, and there's no high-speed, kicking the pulp out. The next part of the Breville is right here. This is the juicing screen, and the next part of the Kuvings is the auger. So once again, this is how I talked about this is different in how this operates. You put the produce into the Breville, these little teeth here that will wear down will grate up, and then it'll send the juice flying against this micro mesh screen, and the juice will come out and the pulp gets kicked out the back. With the Kuvings, that does not happen because the next part is the auger. The produce goes in the auger. This auger's spinning around, much like that old-fashioned meat grinder, compresses the amount of space where the fruit or vegetable is in, and literally it squeezes out all the juice through this juicing screen. And I want to note that the juicing screen on the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer has a lot less surface area than the Breville, because at the end of juicing, you're going to have to take that brush, that special cleaning brush, and you're going to have to brush out the screen both front and back to ensure you get all the pulp dislodged, because if you don't, if you leave pulp in the screen hole, that's going to clog up the juicer and then your yields are going to go down. So once it squeezes the produce in here, it squeezes it out, it actually comes out the little holes in the front. And then to make this even more intelligent, Kuvings includes this little wiping blade here. I don't know if you guys can see that spin around there. It has these little silicone blades, much like the windshield wipers on your car. Imagine driving in the rain without windshield wipers, right? It's like having a juicing screen without a screen or a windshield wiper that's cleaning it. I mean, there's been many times when I've been juicing in high-speed ejection juicers like the Breville, and my screen gets clogged, it kind of gets off balance, and then you got to stop, take the juicer apart, and clean the screen. That'll never happen with the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer because they have the automatic wiping blade that literally cleans the screen as you go to ensure you're going to get the highest yield and everything works smoothly. Alright, so the final step, of course, on these machines here is the juicing bowl. So on this juicing bowl, basically, as the juice comes out, it just gets funneled down out into the front and into the collection cup there. And similar on the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer, you basically have this bowl here, the juice gets funneled out the front, and one of the cool things on the Kuvings, they actually have a drip catch plug here, so you can plug that in so all the juice will collect in there. When you're done juicing, you won't get drips on your counter, something I've experienced a lot with the Breville. In addition, this also allows you to mixing inside the juicing bowl. Say you're juicing apples and carrots, you want it just to mix up in there, you can let the juicer mix it up instead of you having to take a stir stick after you're done making it. And then over on the Kuvings, how this works is once the juice is wringed out, comes out this side, the pulp comes out this side, and on the bottom of the Kuvings, there's this little flap here. If you look, it's a silicone flap. I just pulled it out, you could put it back in. And the purpose for this flap is to basically keep the back pressure on the produce, keep the produce in there until it's fully dry, fully extracted, and then and only then will the little silicone flap let the pulp out into the collection bin, so you're going to get a nice yield. Now I want to stop there for a second and tell you guys that, every juicer has its pros and cons. Hey, this is a lot faster, this is a lot slower, this one costs a bit more, but this one will also do more things than just juice. This one will create, in my opinion, a much higher quality, nutrition rich juice than this one will. But, one of the things is that every juicer will juice certain produce items better or worse than another. So, for example, if your definition of better or worse is just yield, because many people think yield is what the best is, things like hard vegetables and whatnot do very well in the Breville, frankly. It makes... and in the Kuvings it does pretty good, but not that well. I mean, another pro and con for some people is the pulp. Some people like pulp in their juice, in which case the Kuvings is a great machine because it puts more pulp in the juice. And the Breville does not put pulp in the juice. But if you don't like pulp in the juice, then you'd want to use the Breville, of course, because it makes a virtually pulp-free juice. But I do want to add that with the standard sieve or strainer you can purchase separately, you could actually run your Kuvings Whole Slow juice through the strainer and then get all the pulp out, and then you could actually save the pulp like I do and give it to my dog mixed in with his dog food, and he loves it, and it's good for him too, because we need to have our domesticated animals, cats and dogs also, get some of these fresh fruits and vegetables in them that have so many phytochemicals, phytonutrients, and antioxidants, which are definitely healthy for them in my opinion. So yeah, so assembly on these machines, very simple, very easy. We're going to start with the Kuvings first. We're going to take the bowl here, It's going to go straight down. And then the thing you're going to notice on the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer is you're going to want to take the automatic wiping blade, just shove that onto the screen there, and then you're going to note this little red dot. You're going to line up this red dot with a red dot on the juicing bowl, put that in place, locks right in. Then you're going to go ahead and take your auger goes right down in the middle, locks into place, very simple, very easy. Once again, we're going to look for that red dot on the housing, line that red dot with the red dot on the bowl here, locks into place, turn it, it's closed, and now you're all ready to juice. With the Breville, very similar. You're going to take the juicing bowl, put it right down in the middle there. We're going to take the juicing screen, line that up, this arrow with this arrow here, align it, drop it down in, locks into place. We're going to then take the top, put the top on, just like so. And then slap this guy back into place, locks into place. Now, both of these machines have safety interlock switches. So what that means is that if you do not properly assemble the machines, they will not come on, to prevent injury. Now the other thing I want to say, both these machines have 3-inch wide feed chutes. My hands are not that big, but I can stick both my hands into the machines. Never, ever, ever do this. They both have warning signs that say do not put anything in the machine on there, including your hands. The only thing you're ever going to want to put in the machine are, number one, the produce being processed into the machine, and the pusher. Don't use a knife, don't use a fork. If you do have children, you will want to supervise them closely when using these machines. If you do have children, you may want to, look into other juicers with smaller feed chutes that are not going to be, as dangerous in my opinion. And that's what I would do if I was a parent. So now let's go ahead and juice some apples in these machines to show you guys how these machines work and how efficiently they juice whole apples without any cutting. We're going to go ahead and remove the main pitcher here and just put a glass cup underneath here, open that little spout lid. We're going to go ahead and remove the Breville catcher and go ahead and put a glass under the Breville and get that ready to go. So now we're going to go ahead and turn the machines on. We're going to go ahead and turn the Breville on. As you notice, it sounds like an airplane taking off in the kitchen. You can barely hear me. Let's go ahead and put those apples through. 1, 2, 3. Use a pusher, push them down in. As you guys can see, the juice is rapidly coming out of the front of the machine. And literally with just 3 apples, we have a whole cup of apple juice. Oh, now we're going to go ahead and turn the machine off because it's going to start to splatter over because it's so full. And once again, that was about 1 pound of apples. Next, we're going to go ahead, let that machine slow down and stop, man, because I don't like yelling at you guys. Now we're going to go ahead and turn this guy on. Nice and slow. I can still talk at a, regular sounding voice. We're going to go ahead and put 1 apple in there, 2 apples in there, 3 apples in there. Now we're going to use our pusher once again to push down the apples in the machine. As you guys can see, this is a lot more calm. I mean, if one of the things is you got kids or, family members asleep in the morning when you have to get up early and juice, that machine is not going to work for you because it runs at a high speed. This one will work for you because you can barely hear this, especially if there's somebody sleeping in the room. They're really not going to even hear this machine running. So as you guys can see, I mean, look at that. I don't know if you guys can see that in the picture, but this is telling of the quality of the juice. I mean, and we're going to let these juices sit aside, for a little bit so you guys can see the difference. These are the same exact organic Fuji apples from the same store, the same bin, 1 pound each, and look at the different colors of the juices that were made in the different machines. So this is the Breville juice fountain juice right there, and this is the Kuvings Whole Slow Juice here. Now yes, it doesn't look like the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer made as much juice, but what you're going to notice is there is a lot of head, man. I mean, if you like beer, you got a nice head on your beer, you might like that. But on juices, I don't recommend a head because the head is basically the oxidation or the oxygen being introduced into the juice. So there's at least half as much head on the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer than the Breville juicer there. Also, I want you guys to notice the color. Look at the color on the Breville juice. It's a lot darker, and the color on the Kuvings is a lot lighter. So we're going to set our apple juices right back here so you guys can see them in the picture right next to each of the juicers. And as these guys are sitting, what I want to do is get into the next part of the juice off. And what we're going to juice now are the leafy green vegetables. So we have some of my favorite leafy green vegetables to juice here. We got some Power Greens. This is the Earthbound Farms Power Greens there. 1.5 pounds going through each of the machines. So putting this much greenage through the machines, you'll definitely see how each machine performs with the leafy greens. Now, in my opinion, juicing vegetables is good, but juicing leafy greens are even better. Most people in America are literally deficient in leafy green consumption. My goal every day is to eat 2 pounds of leafy greens, and by using the juicer, it's going to allow me to easily do that, because it's not easy to eat all these big salads, right? But if you literally juice 1 pound of leafy greens, it turns into only 1 cup of juice. You extract all the fiber. Our bodies are not really made like a cow to get the nutrients out of the fiber, but we can use the juicer, because if you think about it, if you really think about it, our bodies are nothing more or less than a juice extractor. We put things in, we chew it on up, we eat it, and then, we have 2 things come out our guys anyways. One side, the liquids come out the front, and the liquids are clear. I mean, even if the liquids went in Coca-Cola dark, brown, which I don't recommend you guys drink, or a nice dark green juice, comes out clear because our body's pulling all the nutrients out of the liquids. And, the solids, well, we don't use the solids, so they come out the other end. Now, when you're using the juicer, you're literally pre-digesting and extracting all the nutrients out, and your body doesn't have to do it. So that's one of the reasons why you'll have more energy when making these fresh, delicious juices in your very own kitchen. So I guess without further ado, let's get into juicing all these leafy greens and a few carrots, about 6 ounces of carrots in each of the machines. So we're going to go ahead and set up the Breville with the Pulp Collection cup here. We're going to go ahead and get this ready on the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer as well. And I'm going to clean up the table and we'll come back at you to juice these greens. Alright, first let's juice in the Breville juice fountain. We're going to go ahead and open up our leafy greens here. And this is a lot of leafy greens. We're just going to go ahead and take handfuls of the leafy greens out, the Power Greens mix, put it into the juicer, and let the juicer do its magic. Alright, got all that stuff done, empty bag there. Going to go ahead and use a pusher to push in those leafy greens. And we're going to go ahead and put in our last few carrots. Alright, thank God. I can turn that machine off. It's a bit loud. Now we're going to go ahead and get started with juicing in the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer. It's a lot more mellow, a lot more quiet, and I'm really glad I can now juice in the Kuvings. If you do use the Breville on a regular basis or other high-speed, loud machines, I would recommend you guys getting some earmuffs or ear protection, because any high decibel, either whether that's in rock music or whether that's the high-speed machines, can and may cause hearing damage. Let's go ahead next and start juicing these greens in the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer. We're going to go ahead and turn this guy on. A lot more quiet. Take out the feed chute pusher and just feed 1 handful of greens in at a time. Now, one of the things I wish that both these machines had was some kind of funnel, because I tend to try to get most of the greens or the produce that I'm juicing into the machine, but inevitably some of them fall out. Now, literally, the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer is taking the produce and crushing it and squeezing out all the juice. Let's go ahead and undo the little flap there. You guys can see the pulp stream coming out over on this side. Now we're going to go ahead and put in one of the carrots there. You can really hear the juicer take the carrot and crush it all up, squeeze all the juice out, see it coming out the front. Let's go ahead and continue to juice more of the leafy greens in the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer. As you guys can see, the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer makes juicing really quick and easy with its large feed chute. Other slow juicers, and there are many other vertical slow juicers such as the Kuvings on the market right now, but none of them have the wide 3-inch feed chute that the Kuvings does to make juicing whole pieces of produce very quick and easy. Alright, looks like our last handful of leafy greens in the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer. Our little bag here is empty. Gonna go ahead and use our pusher to push those in to the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer. And I think actually also we got one final carrot to juice in the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer. Now the other thing I want to mention is when using the Breville juice fountain, you can literally put things in as fast as the blade takes it and it shreds it up, it kicks it out. The Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer, you need to kind of like take your time. Don't keep cramming things in as fast as you can, because the juicer runs at 60 RPMs compared to 12,000, 13,000 RPMs. It's going to take a bit more time to work. So take your time when feeding things in to the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer, and it's just going to work a lot better for you without jamming and any kind of problems. And you remember, just because it has a whole and large feed chute doesn't mean you can cram things in as fast as you want. Now, while you can put whole pieces of fruits and root vegetables and whatnot, I do still recommend and encourage you guys to cut up things like large kale and leafy greens, Swiss chard, and cut up the stems because they can get caught in the ejection port. In addition, it's important to also cut up the celery, and I like to cut them up into 1/8-inch pieces. Alright, there's the last piece of carrot going into the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer. Looks like it's done a superb job. Now what I want to do for you guys is actually show you guys the pulp that was generated from each of these machines. In the Breville here, a lot of the pulp is still contained within the machinery itself. We're going to go ahead and scrape that stuff out. As you guys can see here, we're going to go ahead and take this out here. I'll show you the juicing screen. Look at that. That screen is literally clogged up 100% with pulp. So what does this mean? This means as you're juicing, as the screen gets clogged up with pulp, the yield is going down because now the juice is unable to get through the holes that are clogged with pulp. And this is a problem with all, centrifugal ejection style machines. In addition, we have the pulp here in the Pulp Collection bin. And if we pull this out, you'll see pieces of carrots that literally just did not get juice. So you're throwing money down the drain in the form of this wet pulp here. We could take this pulp out. There's even pieces of leaves that did not get juice. We could take this pulp here and literally squeeze the pulp. And I don't know if you guys see that, but we're squeezing, some juice out of the pulp. It's actually still quite moist, quite wet. Let's go ahead and turn off the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer and go ahead and take apart this machine and show you guys the difference inside. Once again, we got that auger that's slowly crushing and squeezing out the produce, and yes, there's definitely some stuff in there. But look at this screen. I want you guys to look carefully at that screen. This screen, yes, there's a few things clogged in there, but it's not nearly clogged as bad as the Breville juice fountain, because we got this automatic screen cleaner that's basically keeping the screen clean. And that's the job of the screen cleaner. Next, on this pulp here, if we look at this pulp here, this pulp is significantly drier than the pulp on the Breville. We can squeeze it out, and we might squeeze a few drops, but it's definitely drier than on the Breville. Now, of course, the last thing is the yield. John, how much did each of these juicers yield in the green juice? Because green juice is so beneficial. Let's go ahead and take 2 cups here. We're going to go ahead and take the Breville juice fountain juice and pour this out. And they have a built-in foam separator, and we're pouring this with the foam separator, and there's some foam coming out on the top there. Try to get the rest of this stuff out. Looks like we made, let's go ahead and take this guy off to just make sure we get all the juice here. Looks like we made 1 whole cup of about a little bit more than 16 ounces of juice there, all the way up to the brim. That container there. Next, we're going to go ahead and close the spout cap on the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer. Take this guy out and see how much juice we made here. A lot thinner quality juice, not as much fiber, not as much goop. And as we're going, whoa, we're already to the top of that glass, and we still have, look at that, a bunch of extra juice here with the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer catch cup that won't even fit in my glass. So yeah, so for comparison, As you guys can see, a lot more foam in the Breville Juice Fountain Juice. This is the maximum it made in the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer. We still have, more juice that we're not able to fit into the cup. So this clearly shows that the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer is a superior juicer to the Breville when juicing the leafy greens and the carrots. I mean, it made more juice easily. Now, the other thing I want to show you guys, this apple juice has been sitting out for a while here, and I want you guys to look at it, Number one, I want you guys to look at the head. The head is still, much more on the Breville, and it's not quite as much on the Kuvings. So what does the head mean? Once again, the head means oxidation. In addition, the color. Look at the color and the juice separation on the juice made with the Breville juice fountain. You can see, yeah, it looks like the orange juice you'd buy in the store, but there's all these little particles sink into the bottom, particles in there. It doesn't look so appetizing to me. Probably stirred this up, it looked better. But on the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer, this looks like a rich, unfiltered juice that, in my opinion, has more nutrients than the Breville juice fountain ever did. Next, I'm going to go ahead and get to enjoy this juice. Reminds me when I was a kid, my parents would buy the unfiltered apple juice, no sweetener added, for us kids. And yeah, so as you guys saw, both these juicers juice what we threw at it. They both did a great job, but there are differences. To sum them up, in general, the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer is way more efficient at juicing the beneficial leafy greens with their phytochemicals, phytonutrients, vitamins, and minerals that, in some cases, such as the brassica family plants, such as the collard greens, kale, the broccoli, the Brussels sprouts, the cauliflower, have been shown to be like cancer protective, whereas the Breville could not handle them as well and produced a lower yield. We also learned that the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer has 10 times longer of a warranty. It has a 10-year warranty. The Breville simply has a 1-year warranty. We've also learned that the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer will allow you to do more things than just juice. You can make things like the nut milks, you can make the frozen fruit sorbets, you can make the nut butters, and yes, you can even make baby food in the Kuvings Whole Slow Juicer. And I love to use my juicer as the main ingredient to make soup bases. So literally I'll juice peppers, for example, and use that as my soup stock, as my soup base to make some delicious plant-based, fruit and vegetable rich recipes so that I can get healthier. So once again, this is John Kohler with DiscountJuicers.com, and be sure to visit DiscountJuicers.com/YouTube for special promotional offers for YouTube visitors. This is John Kohler with DiscountJuicers.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you, and what we're going to do today is we're going to juice in the all-new Omega BSJ843 juicer. Now the Omega BSJ843 is the brand new